Hey, what's good? Are you listening to your music or even my YouTube videos a little too loudly on your headphones? Let's find out if you are. Let's check this video out from Vox named "Are Headphones Destroying Your Hearing?" To which I say, huh? I'm going to be working on texturing some models in Photoshop and Blender. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. All right, Vox, as I put my headphones in, let's learn about how we might be losing our hearing because of headphones. Let's go, Vox.
I wear headphones all the time.
So do I. Well, quite
Recently,
a bit.
I've been wondering if all that listening is bad for me. And this led to a full-on spiral where I learned the horrifying statistic that over 1 billion young adults are at risk of permanent avoidable hearing loss.
That's basically everyone.
In a time where we're giving our ears less of a break than ever before, how can we make sure that we're not losing our hearing long term?
And what tools are at our disposal to
out.
ensure that we can minimize that damage?
Yeah.
Power on.
Headphones are not necessarily bad. Like, if you wear headphones, you're not automatically going to develop hearing loss.
That's
Yeah.
Amy Sarrow.
I'm a doctor of audiology, so I often go by Dr. Amy.
Dr. Amy
Hi,
explains to me
Dr.
just how
Amy.
fragile our hearing is. It all has to do with these tiny hair cells in our ears.
So when your hair cells are healthy, they stand up kind of like a field of wheat. And when the sound comes through, it looks like a tornado has come through and they're all twisted up. If you're lucky, they're able to sort of rebuild themselves back straight up, nice and tall. But if you do that often enough, or if the sound is loud enough, the damage is permanent.
Permanent in the sense that those hairs
scary.
are bent out of shape forever, and your
Yeah.
hearing doesn't come back. Not naturally, nor do we have treatments that can reverse the effects of it. This permanent
So
damage
y'all
is
need
caused
to
by
pay
both
attention.
duration and loudness, which is measured in decibels, and it works on a logarithmic scale. Which means if you're listening to something at 85 decibels and then you raise the volume to 88 decibels, you've actually doubled the loudness.
And remember, your ears get trained to how loud something is. That's why, you'll start listening to something and it's super loud, and then eventually you might hear something, so you turn it up just a little bit more. That's what they're describing. Like, you really need to pay attention to the decibels that you're taking in through your ear canals, because that's where the danger comes in. And then talk about danger coming in. Your mom walks in into your room and you're blasting this music and she's like, yo, 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 So that's kind of what they're talking about. The damage that's happening in your ear because of the decibels, and then the damage that your mom is going to give you for listening to music way too loud.
It's such a small shift. And this is where things can quickly get dangerous, because we're often listening louder than we realize.
A lot of times it was 110 decibels or it was over 100 decibels. And it's easy to do because you turn the volume up when you like a song and you don't realize how loud that is.
Especially if you're trying to overpower the sound of
Especially you have that. Is that Chicago? Might be New York. I don't think we have double deckers like that. Let's go back a little bit because it was somewhat important.
Turn the volume up when you like a song and you don't realize how loud that is.
especially
It wasn't all that important. What I was going to say is, especially if you have like a Toyota Tercel and you're bumping something with some Miami bass, and your lug nuts start getting loose because you got a horseshit car.
to overpower the sound of a train or the buzz of a coffee shop or your neighbors mowing their lawn. So for context, the US Department of Labor recommends no more than 8 hours of 85 decibel exposure to be considered a safe working environment. If you dig into your settings on your phone, you can limit your volume to a certain decibel threshold, but if doing so prevents you from hearing clearly, well.
And if you have an Apple Watch will tell you, yo, you're listening to something really super loud. And when I was at the Aftershock Music Festival in Sacramento, I kept getting that alert. And so we just kept flipping it off.
Maybe you can lower the volume of the world around you.
Power on.
The sound you're hearing is coming from this device, which is meant to record what you'd actually hear if you were in this space and if you were using these headphones.
Power
Now, if I'm honest, I always thought that noise cancellation was kind of a marketing tactic, like a neat feature that was pretty cool, but not 100% necessary.
The more I
Right.
talk to experts, the more I realize that it's actually a protective line of defense in noisy environments. There are two types of noise cancellation. Passive noise cancellation, which is when something is physically blocking the sound from coming in,
Okay.
and active noise cancellation.
Power
So
on.
the first one is basically, the quality of materials being used to create your headphones. You can have little thicker rubber pieces that block noise, or you can have very thin rubber pieces that don't block much of anything. And then active noise cancellation is where it gets really cool and geeky.
This is when the headphones have mics that can listen to the sound of the environment. For simplicity's sake, let's visualize this as a singular wave. The headphones hear that wave, analyze it, and then generate a sound wave that's the exact inverse of it. An anti-wave, if you will. When you put the two together, you get silence. Or close to it anyways. Our environment is much more complicated than one wave. There's tons of different dynamic sounds happening all at the same time. Noise-canceling headphones are best at removing persistent low-frequency hums. Anything in the 1000 hertz range or below. Think airplane turbines, trains, engine noise. But that doesn't mean no sound gets in.
What's not going to work well with that are higher frequency sounds. So these would be like birds chirping or a sudden loud sound. It doesn't have a chance to analyze and, decide what to do with that. So usually the sound is just going to come through.
Creating silence in an otherwise noisy environment feels like magic, but it also leads to some weird questions, like, does noise cancellation have value?
In other words, if we're pumping an anti-sound wave to create silence, are our brains interpreting it as silence while our ear hair cells are still getting wrecked in a quiet tornado?
If it's working properly,
That's
it will
an
not
important
produce
question to
a
have
sound.
answered.
My name is Luke Keller.
Hi,
I'm a
Luke.
professor of physics and astronomy at Ithaca College. You can think about it farther up the stream at the eardrum as bouncing back and forth in response to sound waves, but if they're canceled, it's not moving. There's no vibration to transmit to the inner ear. So it is literally making the sound go away. There's no negative effect. The cancellation happens completely in the electronics, not in your head.
So noise canceling actually does remove the sound, leaving our
That's
ear
cool.
hair cells largely unaffected.
And
Attaboy.
that's true of just about any
That's
pair of
great
headphones that
news.
have noise canceling. So don't feel obligated to get the most expensive, best ones. Any halfway decent pair will work well enough to protect your ears.
But it is important to note that noise-canceling headphones don't work on everything. Like, if you go to a concert or need to operate a jackhammer, there are way better ways to protect your ears. But the important
Yeah.
thing is that we should be making a conscious effort to protect them.
We think about putting on sunscreen and we can see when we have a sunburn, but noise damage is invisible. So it's up to us to be thinking about it, to be mindful of it, and to save our ears.
Yeah. So make sure that you're paying attention to how long and how loud you're listening to things. Because not for anything, I'm going to be on here talking a lot of mess for a long time, and I need you guys to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. So take care of your ears, not just how loud they are, but especially like when you're putting those earbuds in your ear, you want to make sure that you clean those out from time to time. You don't want any kind of gunk building up in your ear canal, because that's not helping anyone. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with each and every one of your friends, and if you want to come hang out with me and watch videos while I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button and then on the little bell, so that way you'll be alerted every time I come out with something new. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.